something called Pilates. Now when I first heard of it, I didn't think too much of it. I just thought, okay, Pilates, that's some form of exercise where you kind of use springs and levers and gears, kind of like some Inspector Gadget. The whole contraption's moving. You move your arm and then the lower part moves. You kick your leg out and then you flip upside down. It's a big machine. And then as I began to read more of the Bible, right? Hear me out. I began to read more of the Bible, began to become more acquainted with the story of Jesus. A name stuck out to me, okay? I think it was Pontius Pilate. Now, if you don't know the details of the story of Jesus, basically, when he gets crucified, or when he gets sentenced to be crucified, the people, the Jews, gather around and say, sentence him to death. And Pontius Pilate is trying to reason with them, saying, hey, like, what did this guy do wrong? Like, what's going on? Anyways, he ends up getting a message from his wife saying, leave this man alone. He is an innocent man. He is a holy man. Do not touch him. Have nothing to do with him. He did not listen. He did not listen to the signs. He did not listen to his wife. And he said, okay, fine. You guys want him killed? I'm washing my hands, so I'm innocent. So he says, I personally don't think so. I think he could have just said no. But that's not how it was supposed to go. You know, that was just my thought, my opinion. But anyways, he says he's innocent. So he sentences Jesus to be flogged and crucified. And his name is Pontius Pilate. I mean, what more else is there to say? You see these big Pilate signs. I don't really like the idea of, doing an activity not necessarily named after, but having the same name as the person that crucified Jesus. I don't know. Or sentenced him to crucifixion. Something about that kind of sits a little wrong with me. Maybe I'm thinking too much. I don't know. That was my first psyop that I noticed, or that I'm talking about in this video, because it's so popular. I mean, there's like 3 spots in one block where I live. It's blown up. It's huge. It's enormous. Pilates. Why Pilates? I guess it was named after some dude named something Pilate. What could it not have been called? Like, I don't know, machine aerobics, versatile machinery. I don't know what to call it, but yeah, Pilates. It seems to be the rave, but me, I don't like it. I don't like the idea of that. Anyways, psyop number 2 coming up. Halloween, such a psyop, man. I mean, growing up as kids, you don't know. You just think, okay, we're gonna go out, dress up as skeletons, dress up as witches and all these evil creatures, and go and knock on some stranger's door and take candy. I mean, I was always terrified of taking a bite of the candy and having a razor blade go down my throat and kill me. Because you'd hear stories of that, or like taking a bite of the candy and like turning purple and dying from poison or something. I mean, we're literally told not to take candy from a stranger, and then all of a sudden there's like one night of the year where all the kids go running around, sometimes alone, sometimes with their parents, knocking on strangers' doors, taking candy from a stranger. I mean, what is this? That's part 1. But part 2 is, it's like a Day of the Dead. It's like worshiping evil, like evil spirits, witches, skeletons. I mean, come on. That's not an evil psyop, then I don't know what is. Because like, it's a whole day dedicated to putting up, and you see people go all out. Like, you can tell who, maybe I'm stretching here, maybe I'm reaching, but you can kind of tell who is not a follower of Christ, or who dwells in the darkness, who's a little bit new age, who dives in the deeps by how much Halloween decorations they have. You know those people that go all out, all freaking out on the Halloween decorations. They're putting up the most brutal, gruesome looking things. They're trying to terrify the children. I mean, diving in the dark That's all. That's what I think. I'm like, dude. But you know, then they celebrate for Christmas too. But it's like, it's not about the lights for Christmas. You know, it's about celebrating the birthday of Jesus. But yeah, big psyop Halloween for sure. Definitely tricking the kids to take candy from strangers and tricking them to celebrate death in witches, in wizards. Like, when did this happen? You know, I have to imagine, I like to think 100 years ago people didn't celebrate Halloween because it would have been seen as witchcraft. It would have been seen as evil, and they would just say, okay, what is it? Like, who started this? I wonder. I kind of want to dive deep on this. You know, you might not see me for a few months. I might be doing some research, but yeah. So that's Psyop 2. What's Psyop number 3? Okay, Psyop 3 would be having to be jacked, and unfortunately, or like having to like hit the 10,000 steps or like live an aesthetic life. Unfortunately, I fell for this one. Albeit I made it to the other side of the tunnel. For some reason on social media, there's like this message being pumped of like being aesthetic or being like super jacked and having to hit 10k steps and having to hit all these criteria. You know, like the self-improvement, right? Like, gotta go to the gym, gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this. Like the list, like just a whole bunch of lists. For some reason, is like swept over society, swept over the young generation, maybe even the older generation too. I don't know, but especially for us young lads, there's like this chronic need for a list, for a to-do list of like how to live life, for like a tutorial. And it's kind of bad, but it reminds me of somebody I used to know, and we'd kind of poke fun at him because he liked tutorials, because he would watch a tutorial on, like, I'm over exaggerating, but like how to tie your shoes, how to fill up a cup of orange juice, a tutorial for everything. So he'd kind of have this running joke where it's like, somebody would ask, oh, how do I do this? It's like, wait, let's find a tutorial. Like, let's search on YouTube for a tutorial. But that's like kind of where we're at now, like, actually. And I've fallen into that pit. It's like, used to be a joke, now it's kind of a reality. Like, tutorial on how to make food, tutorial like simple food, like tutorial. And I catch myself doing that. Google Maps, like using Google Maps to figure out where to go. I know I kind of strayed from the like aesthetic gym part, but I think that the actual psyop is like the to-do list / tutorial / like hand holding that has become very common. I don't even know if it's a psyop or if it's just like a way things are, because things are so easy, you know. Like, it's so easy to just search up tutorial, like, how do I put on a shirt, like, how do I do this, how, like, kind of like abdicating responsibility, if you will. Altcoins, alternative cryptocurrencies, huge psyop, huge waste of time, in my personal opinion. I mean, there's the one OG, there's the original gangster, which is Bitcoin. Bitcoin's pretty cool. Bitcoin's pretty awesome, in my opinion. Altcoins, I don't know, man. You see a new one pop up every other day. You see these NFTs, huge psyop, ridiculous. I remember, like, Gary Vaynerchuk, you know, making these little, like, cartoon animals, like hand-drawn cartoon animals, said they were an NFT and probably sold them for like $6,000. Ridiculous. Yeah, just kind of a waste of money. I mean, Doge, that's just a meme. But like, I remember there'd be these new coins coming out. It'd be like, gotta get it. New Ethereum, new Ethereum, and then there's Ethereum Classic, and then like all the stuff. The original altcoin, Litecoin, started off, I don't know, I think I'm going off the edge with this one. But yeah, another psyop, not taking risk, being afraid of risk, having to live like a safe, secure, completely sheltered, avoidant of risk life. I mean, I see this all too often. way too often. I mean, feeling like you need to go to college, like you need to go to university in order to have a future, in order to feel confident in yourself. Big psyop. Like, some people don't even feel wouldn't even feel confident if they didn't have a degree. Like, their confidence is their degree. Don't get me wrong, I can imagine it's a lot of hard work. I can imagine it's difficult to get a degree, but it's kind of increasingly becoming more useless, as far as I can tell. I mean, people will get their degrees and then not be able to get a job for a year, and then the job that they end up getting is like some minimum wage like job that anybody could get. I feel like the real degree now, or the real outlier, is basically your grit, basically your will. Like, how bad do you want something? Are you willing to I don't know, maybe exaggerate your resume, maybe take the extra step? Like, I've heard of companies putting unreachable requirements for the position just to weed out anybody that actually doesn't want the position. So it's like a new company, and it's like, have experience in this field for like 10 years, but the field's only been out for 7 years. So it's like, it's literally impossible. They just want to see, okay, who's willing to push forward and bypass these false expectations to get the job. Huge psyop. Feeling like you need a credential, feeling like you need a checked box in order to do something. Like, I've heard of like landscaping. Like, somebody said to me, like, you might need a license to landscape, you might need a license, like what the. And that brings me to the outdoors license. I mean, come on. You need a license to fish. Anyways, I'm just ranting at this point. But yeah, I personally think a degree can be useful. I think it can be good, and it can set you up well. But I feel like it's been very overplayed, and it's not as necessary as it once was. Albeit the kind of mental stigma that you need a degree seems to still be floating around a little bit, and you know, a lot of young lads, I guess, feel pressured to get one even if they don't want to. You know, their parents say, oh, be a this, be a that, and they don't want to, and then they go ahead and do it anyways, and then switch. Like, horror stories. Anyways, those are the psyops that I could come up with. Let me know what you think. If you have any more, drop them down in the comments below. Do take care, guys, and until next time, peace.